There is great potential within the agricultural sector in most African countries, where innovation is key to increased production and food security. We must work together to create efficient, productive, and effective agricultural systems and agribusinesses in Africa. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we as Africa are blessed with a young, vibrant, restless population, which in and of itself is a tremendous asset. And it is a tremendous asset if we invest in it and invest wisely. Our young people are the innovators, entrepreneurs, and leaders, not of tomorrow, but of the now, who must drive our economic growth and create inclusive, resilient societies where no one will be left behind.
Botswana has recently have a new president, Duma Boko, who is showing that he can do something for country Botswana and for Africa. And recently he has called African leaders to address governance failure openly without sugarcoating. Speaking at an African Economic Conference in Gaborone, he emphasizes the need of accountability, criticizing the tendency of African leaders to avoid confronting issues like corruption, armed conflicts, and government lapse. Boko stressed the importance of silencing the guns. He called that silencing the guns to enable development and economy integration, advocating for democratic deepening and solution beyond his or beyond aid dependence to attract private investment. And this is what we need from a leader in Africa, in a country in Africa. Boko is showing the leaderness in him and not a political. And we are praying that maybe he be good. And if he is what we think he will be, this is another Ibrahim Traore we are looking for. Let's watch this video of Boko, the president of Botswana, and then we go talk on it.
We tell ourselves we can do things. We tell ourselves we can come up with appropriate solutions for the trenchant problems that bedevil our continent and the lives of our people. Will they come when they are called forth? When we have come together and settled on some of these propositions and solutions, do we have governments resilient, agile enough to enforce, to enact, to implement these solutions in the shortest possible time? Do we? Brutally, honestly, I must indicate the challenges that face us as a continent and the world, the responses that we've fashioned in the past, and an open acknowledgement of our foibles and failures that have resulted in us being stuck as a continent in situations where our people are subjected to the grinding indecencies of poverty, and where the actions of government have operated to snuff out any democratic energies and impulses amongst the people. I hope at the end of this conference you'll have reignited the passion. You would have fueled, augmented, and deepened democracy at the very least. But that you'll also have inspired us to more action geared at lifting our people from poverty and raising our continent to take its rightful place as a leader in the world and not just an emerging frontier. Africa still has unique prospects which, if harnessed effectively, can transform challenges into opportunities for the continent, not only to survive, but also, and more importantly, to thrive. Our Africa is still rich in natural resources, and it is critical that we develop and strengthen value chain systems for value addition to Africa's vast natural resources and to prioritize the use of these in Africa. There is great potential within the agricultural sector in most African countries, where innovation is key to increased production and food security. We must work together to create efficient, productive, and effective agricultural systems and agribusinesses in Africa. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we as Africa are blessed with a young, vibrant, restless population, which in and of itself is a tremendous asset. And it is a tremendous asset if we invest in it and invest wisely. Our young people are the innovators, entrepreneurs, and leaders, not of tomorrow, but of the now, who must drive our economic growth and create inclusive, resilient societies where no one will be left behind. Ending armed conflicts which hinder development by silencing the guns in Africa cannot be overemphasized. This will create a stronger and more integrated Africa, an Africa which is better equipped to navigate the global trade dynamics and challenges. The ongoing conflicts and wars in Africa must stop, and they continue to cause immeasurable human suffering, displacement, and leave lasting scars and bruises on people, communities, societies, countries. And we will be our own worst enemies if we do not step up, call each other out where we have to as leaders, and this has been one of the problems. That when we are supposed to address issues, often we marshal figures and statistics that flatter only to deceive. So we must rise above this self-adulation, deal with the painful realities that some of our actions cause on our people. It is imperative for the continent to act in unison and with unwavering boldness to secure Africa's economic future and to build a resilient, prosperous Africa that we all want. I hear echoes in my mind of a conversation between two Shakespearean characters. One says to the other, "You know, I can do things. I can call spirits from the vast deep." The other says, "Well, so can I, and so can anybody else. But will they come? when you do call for them? That is the brutally honest and devastating question that we must pose to ourselves and wrestle with in the next 3 days. We tell ourselves we can do things. We tell ourselves we can come up with appropriate solutions for the trenchant problems that bedevil our continent and the lives of our people. Will they come when they are called forth? But to take it a street further and conclude on that note, when we have come together and settled on some of these propositions and solutions, do we have governments resilient, agile enough to enforce, to enact, to implement these solutions in the shortest possible time? Do we? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for the privilege of your attention and the pleasure of your company. Thank you.
Welcome back. That is Duma Boko, and this fearless, bold speech he gave out in ISC or AEC, African Economic Conference in Gaborone. And in this conference, he called out African leaders, which he think that sometimes they are sugarcoating and they are not speaking out for the failures of Africa. They are trying to hide some things for Africa. And whatever Boko has said is whatever we want. Whatever he has said is whatever we want in Africa, so that we can make Africa to be great again. This is what Ibrahim Traore is doing, and this is what Sahel is trying to do. And I will look forward if Boko will try to join the Sahel and support Ibrahim Traore agenda and, do away with the white supremacy and, everything that will hinder the development of Africa. In Africa, we don't need politicians anymore. We need leaders. Leaders are the ones who can change the face of Africa. As someone said one day, that Africa has a great, everything that it takes to make Africa one of the beasts in the world. But we are being hindered with corrupt leaders, invention of foreign countries. We don't make our own decisions. We have these political instabilities where everyone wants to lead, want the power. Many things are there to hinder Africa from moving forward. But if we get leaders like Boko, if we get leaders like Ibrahim Traore, if we get leaders like Mali and Niger president, if we get leaders who are willing to change the countries of Africa, if we get leaders who are willing to join hands together, who are the Pan-Africanist, who are preaching the power of Pan-Africanist, Africa will move forward. Because there is no need for you as an African president to have this richness, hundreds or tens of jets, thousands of acres, and yet your people who you are leading are sleeping hungry. The people who you are leading, they are fighting every day. They are being displaced from their lands just because to make your master happy. And that's why Ibrahim Traore said this. Some leaders here in Africa, they are there because of their masters. They are there to make their masters happy. And the masters are the West, the white supremacy. Some countries in Africa cannot make their own decisions. Some countries in Africa, their decisions are being made by IMF because of the aid dependence we have to them. So they are the one making rules. They are the one making laws. They are the one telling you what to do. We lack dependence because we depend mostly on their aid. A country like Mali recently has said that they have paid their loan. I don't know if that's true, but if it's true, that means we can do it. We can pay off our loans using our own resources and depend on ourselves. And African leaders should confront issues like corruption, armed conflicts, and government lapse. These are things that African leaders should come out and talk about it and condemn. Now, you can see opposition leaders like Julius Malema. You can see opposition leaders in countries like Peter Obi of Nigeria. Opposition leaders, they are the one who was speaking out of these issues. Kizza Besigye was abducted just lately from Kenya with the Ugandan government just because he is against the corrupt government of Uganda, just because he is talking against the government. Whatever the government is doing is not helping the people of Uganda. Now, Kizza Besigye, he is the opposition leader and talking against it. And what did they do? They abducted him. They kidnapped him in Kenya, even out of his jurisdiction. This is what we want to condemn. When you see Julius Malema from South Africa talking about things that the government needs to do right, if the government is doing wrong, he come out openly to speak about it. We need the leaders of Africa, the presidents, to speak about corruption, against armed conflicts, against instability in government, against this, so that we can come up with decisions and make Africa great. But if we don't talk about that, we will keep on surrounding ourselves in just rounds and rounds of we can make Africa great, we can make Kenya great, we can make blah blah blah. Talking on this conference, AU, African Union, ECOWAS, EAC, SADC, but without any solutions. We talk, we finish, we go home. Someone driving his 100 cars, motorcade of 100 cars, a president, without any solution. So I am in support of Duma Boko, and I believe he's a good leader from Botswana, and I believe Botswana have got a good leader. He swear that he will make Botswana great, and we are looking forward. We are looking forward for him to partner with someone like Ibrahim Traore so that they can make Africa great together, because the leaders we are seeing, or the leaders that we are on our face, that they are on our face, the likes of Ibrahim Traore, the likes of the Mali and Niger leaders, we have to support them with all we got. We have to support them with everything. And that's why we are calling out the youths in these countries, the youths of Botswana, Burkina Faso, Kenya, Tanzania, the youths of African countries, to come out to condemn evil, to come out to speak, to be Pan-Africanist, so that we can bring, or we can move Africa forward. Tell me what you think about Duma Boko, the speech, on the comment section. Until next episode, peace be with you.